Should the United States have borders? Now, open borders is the point here, and every country themselves have a border. Point here is that they really need open borders. Some countries already have open borders, like France and Germany, and well, Britain itself is quite landlocked, so obviously whoever wants to go into Germany or England for that matter has to go ahead and do something noteworthy. But in the end, though, the United States of America, the land of the free, has closed borders. Of course, their citizens can leave whenever they want, and they can always enter back in, as long as they have the right documents. However, the problem is they have pretty much closed borders, and the only way that you can get in is to have a pretty good passport, have a visa, or have a visa-free ticket, or something like that. Visa-free ticket country, and you are not an illegal immigrant. Of course, there is another way to get inside. Become an illegal immigrant, contradictory to what I said earlier, and enter the border, and hope that ICE doesn't find you. Otherwise, you'll be deported to whatever place that they think you are from. To be honest, most people living in most of the people who seem to be famous that I read seem to be illegal immigrants that have come in when they were kids, when they didn't even know what an illegal immigrant is. As a result, people either actually try to enter the US with proper documents and wait for a while, or try to go in the legal way. Let's start off our debate with the first point of the pros team, which saying that USA should have open borders. Here's how it goes. They say that it would make it much easier for other people to come inside and enter and leave the country wherever they're from. That is usually poor or unsafe. If it's poor or unsafe, they'll probably want to leave it. Like, let's say certain parts of Mexico, which are pretty unsafe. And technically certain parts of the United States of America are unsafe and crime-ridden too. They want to enter a safe haven place that has a reputation for a safe haven. And now it's time for the first point of the cons team. Now they say that it might make it easier for people who can cause harm to come to the United States of America. If there's a criminal or terrorist who wants to come into America, an open border with pretty much lax regulations will let anyone come. Will let these terrorists come in. And yes, there are sometimes hospitals where they are built in between borders, like half of the hospitals say French, half of the hospitals German. But I think it was like Austrian and Switzerland, I think that hospital was. But in the end, so yeah, you automatically enter the other place without need for immigration documents or anything like that. And now it's time for the second point of the pros team, and it says that immigrants help a country's economy. And when they literally help a country's economy, you're, well, not really suitable and helping out anyone else too. You're probably not helping your own country, but you are helping your new country's home. And now for the second point of the cons team is that letting in a lot of people who don't have special skills might make the economy worse. And that itself would literally go ahead and create somewhat of a crisis or issue, I should mention. And now it's time for the third point of the pros team, is that Americans and immigrants don't usually look for the same jobs. Americans want to make American jobs, and the immigrants try to get jobs that, well, they can definitely find. But honestly, though, lots of immigrants who try to find jobs can't really get those jobs because those people who are hiring don't want immigrants, they want full-breed Americans. And now it's time for the third point of the cons team. Now this is, if there are too many immigrants, it might be hard for Americans to find their jobs. And unfortunately, pregnant women are allowed to come in, which means that if they get birth in the United States of America, well, they end up becoming U.S. citizens, mothers of U.S. citizens. Trump tried to take that away, but the Supreme Court is like, how are you trying to take away a basic human right? It's just going to stand the test of time, and it isn't only, this is going to happen. Birthright citizenship is going to really come back in. And birthright citizenship is still here, mainly because it is part of the Constitution, and Constitution is really, really hard to take out. And now it's time for the fourth point of the pros team. Oh god. It's time for the fourth point of the pros team, and they say that, hey, you know what? The United States became the place it is today because of immigrants who wanted to help the new country. The United States of America's citizens are technically British, mind you. This is why lots of Americans and British can find themselves to be cousins by like several generations and several lineages apart. And now it's time for the fourth and final point of the cons team, where they say that if we don't have borders, Americans might lose their identity of becoming American. What's the point of becoming American if anyone can enter America and become American? What's the point of becoming an American then? Well, that is the end of today's episode of debating. I really hope you guys did enjoy this episode, so until next time, shalom, peace, bye-bye. What are your thoughts on the United States having open borders? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Bye-bye.